everyone. Hey, and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host, Tom Quee. We are doing one of these catch-up episodes that we do here and now. Shout out to Quill and Soul and Respect BA and all the other people who came on. And just going through the battles that have happened since our initial Battle Rap Resume. And in this case, with Kinell, I mean, it ended quite early, really. I think the last battle we spoke about was Bobby Rex. So there's something like 16, 17 battles in that space of like a year and a half or something. And Kinell, how's it going, man?
Hey, it's all good, it's all good. I've got an absolutely stinking hangover, but I'm awake, which I'm quite happy about.
Is anyone as prolific as you in the scene in terms of battles?
Recently, no, but I can see a few other people who are doing bits at the minute, like. It's good to see that, like, I noticed there's a few guys I'm seeing, like, that are, like, trying to, like, jump on every card and, like, different bits, like, so... I reckon, there's going to be a few people to look out for by this time next year. Like, I like to see people taking a lot of battles and like flipping, earning an aim that way.
Yeah, you don't see it as much, do you? There's more strategy now, it seems.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I've been watching this academy thing. Like, I've been keeping an eye on that, and it'll be interesting to see how things play out today. Because there's some guys in there that have been doing a lot to sort of build up experience and that kind of thing, whereas other guys have just said like, right, I've got my opponent and just sat back for 2 months. So we'll see how that plays out for them today, I reckon.
Yeah, the wheat separated from the chaff to a certain extent. We've got the new tier from that group, and it is exciting to see, you know, how ready people are to battle, how eager they are, like yourself. And it's been great going back through these battles. Obviously, go back to our earlier Battle Rap Resume episode to catch up on all the history. We've done loads of like previews, haven't we, for like Noko stuff and, you know, Blaze and.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a globetrotter battle-wise. I can't think of anyone that goes to unique places like you do and battles on these cool leagues, you know, from the home territories.
Yeah, flipping like people need to get on it. Like flipping, it's some of the best fun I've had in flipping battle rap. Like, and I want to go to a few more places and all. Like flipping you know, it's generally people who like travel overseas to battle, like sort of. You know, they kind of wait till they're in a position where they can get on a big event at King of the Dot, but it's cool to see the grassroots level of culture in like other places, like flipping ECCM's a crack, like flipping. I'd honestly, like, I'd recommend any UK battler for to hit up Bill Blaze and see if you can get a battle over on ECCM. Like, it's a whole different thing, like.
It was very cool to see. I'm sure you saw yourself, Kinell. Sensor tweeted about you. He said you were like one of his favourite battlers right now.
Flipping he's been really supportive, Sensor, which I found quite surprising. Like, I was so impressed with his flipping comeback. Like, flipping some battlers, like you don't really like. There's a few like that never made sense to me until I saw them live. I'm thinking of like people like Villain and that, like, you know, I was never really into them, and then I saw him live. Thought, actually, fuck yeah, you do bits here, like. And Sensor was one of them, and it was such a surprising comeback because I didn't recognise him.
Yeah,
flipping, like, you know, he's lost all the weight, like significantly better haircut, lovely beard, I might add. So like, I didn't recognise him the whole fucking time we were there, like, and then when everyone gathered round for him versus Jaqq, like, I didn't recognise him right up until the moment he started fucking rapping. And when he started rapping, I thought, fucking hell. Yeah, there's a fucking reason they stuck this guy against Disaster and Soul Khan in the same day.
Yeah. Kinell is my new favourite battle rapper, is what he said. And he followed up with watched you and Ted again, laughed all the way through. I saw that, of course. That was at Empire. When's that coming out? Is it coming out soon?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Like,
good battle, really good battle.
Yeah, I was flipping. That's the happiest I've ever been with a battle, to be honest.
Ted translated well.
Yeah, I haven't seen it on the upload schedule yet. Like, I've looked on the GZ one and the King of the Dot one, and then It's not on there as of, but like the King of the Dot one goes all the way up to like fucking October with Bobby Rex versus Lou Cypher.
Right. Jesus.
And the GZ one only goes up to August, but I haven't seen it on that either. But I haven't asked anyone either. Like, you know,
it's coming. It's coming. And, you know, it's getting to some of the battles then since last time. The first one I want to talk about in depth is versus Billy Shakes over at No Coast, Snow Coast 2. It must be surreal as a battler to have Lush hosting.
Yeah, flipping that whole trip was crazy. Like, I mean, like I was landed on the Friday when the event started and went straight to the venue. And I got picked up by OK Nice at the airport. Big up OK Nice, like, top lad. And I think I went to, like, Florida when I was, like, fucking, like, 10 or something. But, you know, I hadn't really, like, you know... But I hadn't been to America since, like, and... You know, America was just something I kind of, like, watched on telly, like. So we got picked up at the airport, taken straight to the venue. We went into this, like... and the venue for the first night's this like mad little sort of like dive bar, flipping with like closed down liquor store next to it on the parking lot. And where we pulled up, fucking saw Tyler breakneck outside with fucking reverse live, drinking a fucking 40 in a fucking brown paper bag and all this. And it was quite like a worlds colliding kind of thing, like, you know, like. It's some shit I watch on YouTube, not something I see there. And then bumped into Mackenzie and we walked down and there was fucking people in this dive bar in Minneapolis that fucking knew who we were. Like, I mean, you got to remember, like, fucking at the time, like, I was fucking struggling to break 1,000 views on a battle. Like, you know, flipping. Most people didn't know. I had mates who didn't know I was battling at that point, like. So to walk down and see and see all that, like, and see Reverse Live versus Real Deal in those in that venue, flipping, like, it was incredible. Like, previously a battle of that caliber, I'd only really like seen at like a big Don't Flop event, like, and. So that was surreal to see it happening in a dive bar. And anyway, the next day we go back, like, we were all staying in an Airbnb. Fucking it was me, Mackenzie, Bill Blaze, Real Deal, and Lush and Jay Walker, I think, staying in this one Airbnb, like. And I was still on UK time, so I woke up about 4 a.m. And flipping, like, I stuck my head out the door, and it flipping, like, where we were was a proper suburban little area, and fucking it was just after Halloween, so people still had pumpkins out, and it properly looked like the early bits of that film Halloween.
Right.
Yeah. And so I went outside in the garden, started running me bars for a bit, and then I wandered inside. Flipping Mackenzie had just woke up. And then suddenly, like, flipping Lush One, like, seemingly leaped from behind a sofa, wearing pyjama bottoms and a jumper with a cat on, and started explaining to us, like, different flipping techniques that Latino gangs in fucking LA use to fucking attack each other and all this kind of thing.
Naturally,
like, yeah.
I mean, this is a huge battle, huge event here, and Billy Shakes from Edmonton, Canada, is an interesting guy, isn't he? Quite a unique personality. Hard to compare him to someone in the UK scene. Yeah,
I don't think there is anyone like him, really. Like, I don't know if he came over here, like, who would I put? My instinct would be to put him against someone like Heretic,
right?
But he's definitely got a much more madcap, surrealistic style. Like,
yeah, he does. He does have a thematically driven, interesting work. You mentioned Chris Benoit in your first, and it gets quite a horrified reaction.
Yeah. When I was writing it, I was just thinking about things I could say about Canada, and the first thing that comes to mind with me is Chris Benoit. Like,
yeah. I mean, it is a really fun battle. It's a really rowdy, atmosphere. and you both show out, and it must have been a great feeling to go over there and, you know, conquer new territory.
Yeah, it was incredible, and that basement was wild. There'd been some great battles in there, some of which are horrendously underviewed. Like flipping, I'd recommend anyone watch Roe versus Wisdom, and the majority of people in that basement were on a lot of acid.
Right.
So you know, there'd been a lot of drinking. Everyone was like basically still partying from the night before. So yeah, the atmosphere was absolutely crazy for it.
And, you know, moving forward then, there was your title run, which was long awaited. And really, where we sort of begin now marks, to a certain extent, your second phase, I think, from the title run onwards, of being solidified in the higher ranks of the whole community.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like, flipping... When I came back, I had to put a lot of effort into the Mackenzie battle. Like, flipping before that, I hadn't really thought about a battle that much. Like, you know, aside from a couple of them, like the Bobby Rex one, the Billy Shakes one, most battles I'd done like that previous year, I'd like wake up on Monday, go to work, come home, go to the pub, write the battle, spend the next couple of days memorising it, and then do it on the Saturday, and that was pretty much every week for a point.
Yeah.
That was the first time I really like worked on like putting together like long form rounds.
Well, it was a title match, you know, and it demanded reverence, but unfortunately the crowd were, you know, more rambunctious than ever for Ronald.
Yeah, it was in New Cross. Like, it was a pretty crazy event. Like, I think like there was quite a few of the local drunk guys, and what should we call it? Well, there was that crackhead girl that like tried to attack Mackenzie in the middle of his round. Yeah, but yeah, that was the case. Like, but to be honest, I think that probably worked in my favour. Like, you know, it was a very fucking rowdy crowd, but I think like, you know, a more clued up battle rap crowd would have voted Mackenzie. Like, to be honest,
right.
Because he had some incredible stuff, really like decent technical material. But I was just shouting stuff that appeals to local drunks and crackheads.
You were the underdog going in, weren't you?
Oh yeah, certainly. Like, fucking, I think under any other circumstances other than like that exact event and that crowd, flipping Mackenzie would have probably taken it. I mean, he doesn't really do a lot of losing, does he?
His style is incredible for sure. And how did it feel being the champ? Were you treated differently, or?
What should we call it?
It was a brief reign, but I mean, like.
Yeah. I think like what should we call it? When it kind of, at the time, I was kind of like a bit disheartened with it, to be honest, because like flipping, I'd put more work into that battle that I'd done for everything, and obviously it hits YouTube, and the more discerning battle viewers sort of got onto it, and like the whole forum was full of like comments about how I definitely shouldn't have fucking won, which I found quite disheartening at the time. Like, yeah, it'd be water off a duck's back now, like, but you know, flipping up until then, like, if I won a battle, like, you know, the comments were generally in my favour. But yeah, I found that quite disheartening, like, and flipping as a result of which, like, I fucking definitely let me standards drop right off, like, for the subsequent battle the next month.
And that was Mac, right?
No, that was Bars.
Sorry, Mac Sherry was uploaded in the middle of that, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
What happened against Bar? That was another long battle, right? I love the way he enters with the mask.
Yeah. I don't really remember a lot of that battle.
Right.
I just remember leading up to it being a bit fucked off that, like, you know, I'd put a lot of work into earning this title, and like and flipping just generally spending every day being told that I shouldn't have it. So, but at the same time, I was quite cocky, and I really didn't fucking put the prep in that I should have. Like, fucking, my rounds were basically written in one go without editing. I didn't really look at them until like 2 days before the fucking battle.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is just, I mean, it's such a demand on you as a writer. Like, did you ever just feel like you're running out of bars? You've done so many already.
Oh, hey up. Me cat Dillinger's here. You got anything to say to Battle Rap Resume? He doesn't.
All right.
Not really, like, but, you know, I need something to write about, like, at this stage, like, flipping, I do need an opponent I can think of something to say to, like, because generally the opponents I get now tend to be of a standard where I can't get away with just writing any random bollocks that would apply to anyone. So...
And how did the loss to Bard happen? Was it fair to you?
Yeah, it was fair. Like, I lost that battle, defo. Yeah. But, what should we call it? I properly feel like I beat myself on that one, like. Fucking, I didn't put enough work in, and what happened. That's the way of these things.
Yeah,
things,
exactly.
Innit?
One of the things that I love about you as a battler, as we said, is that you're, you know, willing to go to these new places, these untested grounds. And you went to is that the first Rap is Full event that you attended versus Gwen?
I came to Rap is Full to go in the piss with her.
Well, here's where it gets detestable. He's dressing like, you know, he's got a bit of a beard. He's trying to pass as a heterosexual.
Yeah, that was cracking. That was
shit. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was absolutely brilliant. Like, flipping, that was such a good trip. Like, flipping, got the ferry over. Like, I caught the coach from Liverpool, so I met up with G Double there, and so I met up with G Double in Liverpool. Hopped on the coach. And flipping, what should we call it? Hulk was coming on the same one. And his bus was running really late. It looked like he wasn't going to make the ferry. But he eventually did. So when we all hooked up, like, you know, we basically spent the overnight ferry, like, partying our way over there. It was a proper lads' holiday vibe. And then we got to Ireland, and it was in Enniscorthy, which is where Podge Dwyer's from. So, flip it. So, and there was some bus strike on. We had to like travel over. We had to travel across on this long bus. Like, when we got there, it was like Enniscorthy's a really small place. Like, flipping, you know, I flipping. I've spent a lot of my life in like rural bits of Wales, but that place was really small.
I mean, there was hardly anyone there. The vibe was still good, but fair to say it wasn't exactly packed.
Yeah. I think being in Enniscorthy, it's a fucking right
niche.
Yeah, it's a fucking trek, like.
Right.
But yeah, it was a cool event, like.
How was the battle?
The battle, yeah, flipping Graham definitely surprised me by how good he was. Like, he's a wicked freestyler and that, but like most of what I had to go of. Obviously, he's got a pretty solid resume in the last year, but most of what I had to go off were like really old DFI battles. Like, and flipping, when he first started, he was proper young and awkward, and he had a few bits, like, but he wasn't really attacking his opponent. And like, flipping, well, yeah, so what should we call it? He was a lot better than I thought he was going to be. It was absolutely cracking. But as I said, like, flipping, if you watch the battles, you'll notice that fucking me, Hulk, and G Double both end up a bit shonky in our third round, and that's because we basically spent our fucking night partying the way over there. I had a third together, and I started and flipping. I was thinking about while I was watching a load of other Irish battles, I noticed no one ever seems to mention the abortion issue. Well, I thought, like, I don't want to spend too much time on that, so I'll just write a few random jokes. And I ended up starting a section of my third, like way too early. I couldn't remember how to pull it back to, like, the part of the verse that I needed. So I just said, fuck it, and just did all the abortion jokes.
And how did it go down?
Well, they repealed the 8th, didn't they?
Well, they did. They did. Raptor mentioned it as well later, yeah.
Yeah, so, although I didn't take the battle, like, I will say, like, yeah, fucking comfortable win for Ireland there.
And, you know, moving forward, so many battles in 2017, especially. You know, we have uploads in March, and then 2 in June, and 2 in July. You battled Peace Soldier in that bundle. A huge name for you at the time, right?
Yeah. I was really happy with that, like. And that was the same week I battled Lefty, like.
Wow.
I think I battled Lefty on the Sunday in London, and I battled Peace Soldier on the following Saturday. But yeah, I'd say that's one of my favourite battles I've done, like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how did he come? I haven't actually seen that one. How was that?
You haven't seen it, mate? Oh, it was yeah, you got to watch that one. It was pretty decent. I'd say he had like about 2 rounds comfortably written, and the traditional leads burst into a random flipping grind bar in the last round.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really good. I was properly happy with that one. Flipping ended my second round by getting the entire crowd to sing "Got to Get Through This" by Daniel Bedingfield.
Oh my God, what a tune!
Oh yeah, it's an absolute banger. Anyone who doesn't love that tune is either a liar or has something severely wrong with them.
James Dean as well. I think the follow-up was also quite good by him. I don't know if you heard that one, but he was. What was that ballad he had? I Don't Want to Run Away. Even that was kind of decent.
Oh, I don't know. I only like the garage ones.
Wow.
Like,
okay.
yeah.
So, I mean, talking of disasters, Fozzy and Jaqq happened at an event that you also teamed up with Visceral at. Is that right?
What you call it? Yeah, I think that was like yeah, that was a bit of the whole event was a bit of a disaster, really. I was supposed to be battling Stowaway.
Right.
At that event. That battle was originally supposed to go down in Denmark.
Oh.
It was like a thing on Rap Slam Battles, but it hadn't been particularly well organised. I was supposed to be battling Stowaway in Denmark, and Boski was supposed to be battling Geezer G. Anyway, like, flipping at the time, like, Stowaway had been on a bit of a run of, like, people, like, no-showing him and having battles cancelled. So when I got to Denmark, I thought, like, right, before I head over and meet Bowski, I'm gonna hang around, and I'm gonna hang around at the airport, wait for Stowaway so he definitely knows I'm here, and then we'll go and do the thing. Anyway, we linked up, and we went over to meet Bowski, and the event was cancelled after we'd got to Denmark. Yeah. So yeah, I think there was like a couple of guys organising it for Rap Slam Battles, and I think maybe one guy thought the other guy was doing it and the other guy thought the same thing. So long story short, I fucking ended up on a weekend romantic getaway with fucking Boski and Stowaway. Yeah.
What do you remember of this 2-on-2, if anything?
Nothing. I was blattered.
So the next battle I want to focus on properly is you versus Suus. This is a kind of interesting battle. Bartley 2 down at Dub Scandal. Danny Jaqq hosting. If you're in the building, half make some noise. He says the settings were pretty authentic, right?
Yeah, that was a sick little event. That was the background to it was like a couple of months earlier. All the Dub Scandal lads were at the revival event where I battled Dank, which is obviously only just dropped this week. But this was in the early days of Dub Scandal, and I took the piss out of them a bit in that battle because Dank had battled on them. But I said, like, yeah, lads, I'll definitely do your battle. And Conman hit me up about it and said, would you be up for battling Suus? And I'm a really big fan of Suus. Like, I think he's very underrated in terms of like historical importance to like the UK battle rap scene. So I was right on it. The actual event itself, it was like an abandoned ambulance depot, like.
Yeah.
We were battling in this sort of like shell of like half a building where I think it would have been where they used to park the ambulances or something. On the like it wasn't in Middlesbrough. It was at Hartlepool, yeah.
Right, yeah. Hence the name of the event. Yeah, I need to get down to a Dub Scandal event definitely in the future. The atmosphere always seems electric. There's such a receptive crowd that listen carefully and really bring the best out of both of you. And I have to say, I think your writing goes up a notch here. The material's really strong.
Yeah. So that was another one I'd put a lot of work into, like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you get the knock everyone's block off. I'm shitty at Jenga. Gets a whole reload.
Yeah, what should we call it? Flipping that whole little bit goes back to in the Pea Soldier battle. Fucking, I'd done a bar about flipping. I'd done a bar about Machu Picchu, but I didn't flipping history. But fucking, I don't know shit about fucking history or geography or anything. I only knew about Machu Picchu because there was an episode of Idiot Abroad on it. Right. But I'd got the episodes mixed up in my head, and what I was actually talking about was flipping the city of Petra. So I thought, right, in the Suus battle, I'm going to do it right. I'll cave in temples like the city of Petra, and yeah. So I was just sort of working on that like.
Yeah, firebar. Yeah, I think Random did something similar, like caving your skull like an evil lair or something like that. So yeah, it's a firebar.
Yeah, mine was first though.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Randy, you big nosed bellend.
You dig into Sunderland. He digs into you being Welsh. I quite liked his Willy Wonka comparison, and sort of instead of chocolate, you make bongs and pipes. yeah, pretty much accurate. Yeah. He's decent here, Suus, throughout the battle, but I think it's quite clear that you win as it goes throughout. Yeah.
I definitely thought I took it pretty cleanly, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, flipping. Suus did 2 battles last year, and I'm flipping it. I think he had a much better performance against Max Pepsi, but that disappeared along with the rest of Don't Flop Extra, sadly.
Yeah. And I think it's gone forever, unfortunately. So definitely check out Rest in Peace, Don't Flop Extra on Battle Rap Resume. Part 2 will be out today if you're listening on the live stream. But yeah, you talk about his only battle of 2017. Roll up to Digitas in Switzerland and Euphanize Doctors is hard. An onslaught of great lines, really. Pen game, and I'm always up for it. The Pen's game.
That's such a fucking cheesy line. Like
I like it.
Yeah, I'd fucking like I'd been sitting on that. I'd been sitting on that one for ages. And it wouldn't be right to do it at a Rolls event. But I thought the Dub Scandal lads will like that one. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean the judges give it to you, Danny Jaqq. But I don't know if you remember the judging videos, but the cameras all over the place throughout.
Yeah, it was right at the end of the day. A lot of drinking had taken place. Like. Flipping, as I say, it was a good little event. Just everyone getting pissed in an old fucking ambulance shelter. Fucking big up fucking Kofi's mum on the fucking catering.
Okay. Yeah.
Flipping, they had loads of food, like flipping like Jamaican patties and all this kind of thing. And
yeah, the Dub Scandal guys, man, they take care of each other. It's great to see. Milky giving it to you as well. Con Man saying you edged it. You battled Jaqq next, East Coast Connection. I haven't seen this one. One of your lesser viewed ones. What's that about? Play by play.
What's it called? That was when I was in Boston. That one was an absolute fucking shocker.
Right.
Yeah, that was absolutely fucking terrible. Like, I was absolutely terrible. Jaqq was fucking wicked. The background to it is that was on East Coast Connection Media. I was headed over, and the event was going to be on the Saturday. So I was going to come over on the Friday because like that was the best time to book me flights and it didn't interfere with work too much. But what should we call it? King of the Dot announced that Mass would be taking place on the Saturday, like what should we call it? Quite close to where we were doing it. So you can't have a battle event competing with fucking King of the Dot, can you? So the event got moved to the Friday evening, then we all went to Mass the next day. But anyway, obviously this means that I'm fucking landing a few hours before the fucking battle. So I've just done a transatlantic flight. Couldn't sleep on the bastard whatsoever. And like, for the initial plan was I was going to get picked up by Bosco, head over to Blaze's gaff and then just get like an hour's kip in or something, and then get over and then get over and do the battle. But my plane was delayed as well. So basically, I fucking like having been up for like about 20 hours or something and taking a transatlantic flight. Fucking, I had to go straight to the fucking I had to go straight to the venue off the plane, like,
No.
and the heat was insane. Like it was so hot and humid, and like I don't generally visit hot countries. Like if I go on holiday, I normally go somewhere that's cold and weird,
Sure.
like me. But yeah. So what should we call it? Flipping, my head was falling apart by the time I fucking got there. Like,
Right.
fucking, you can, if you watch the battle, you can just see how hammered I am, like just from the fucking climate. I'm fucking falling apart and sweating and everything. It's pretty grim to watch. But Shake was fucking sick, and what should we call it? It was a sick little weekend. Like, obviously we went up to Mass the next day. Like fucking, you know that. Yeah, we were about fucking like 30 strong of us, like all battlers, fucking heading over to Mass the next day. Like, and there was like quite a few people that had just popped in like the night before to the East Coast Connection Media event. Like Megadeth was there, Dago DeVarlo.
Oh yeah, you sent me a photo, right? You sent me a photo,
Yeah.
of you guys. What a hero! Yeah, that's crazy, man, and crazy that you went to that King of the Dot event as well. Was that your first one that you've been to?
Yeah, the Mass event.
Yeah, that's
Like,
crazy.
Yeah, I was flipping wild, like flipping. At one point, I went to the flipping toilet, flipping between battles. I grabbed a pint, came back, and fucking just as I walked back into the room, like fucking Hollow the Don and fucking Disaster took their hoods off, and they're gonna battle like now.
Yeah.
That's a fucking revelation when you walk back in from getting a pint in the surprise battles, Hollow versus Diz.
And next battle that I want to focus on, it's pretty soon after Suus, he returned back to dub Scandal versus Milky.
See, I prefer rappers that actually know what a fucking SM58 is. Like check 1, 2. I didn't want to check 1. Why would I check 1, 2? Fucking every league has a total Saki nerd. There's probably a Polish one and a Czech one too. I don't bother any bars. I don't bother with any bars about my chick one. You can seriously look at him. Why would any chick want to? See, I'll bring the sickness to your city like fresh as flu. You have never skipped the plot part of a porn clip. I respect the performance.
This is on birthday Scandals. This is the 4th of November at the Palm as always. And Milky was on a bit of a streak coming into this. And it does continue. And I hadn't actually watched this battle until this morning. And I was impressed by both of you. I think this is a really high quality battle.
Yeah. Like I said, like Dub Scandal had brought me in for the Suus battle, and because of how well they looked after me, like I thought, like right, I'm happy to battle. I'll come back and battle one of your guys for the birthday, because Milky was on a bit of a streak, but the fucking. You weren't battling decent people, and you don't fucking get noticed.
Yeah.
Fucking having fucking 80 fucking wins against fucking people no one had heard of. So I thought, this will benefit Milky. I'm a fan of the guy. I'm definitely up for this. I think I'm going to do the same thing this year, for Dub Scandal. It's a good little crack. So I'm fucking happy to go there and flipping battle on their birthdays and try and give a shine to someone who maybe wouldn't have got it otherwise. But yeah, it was a good little battle.
And you clown on it throughout the battle, his kind of rehearsed hand movements, and that's what caught my eye, watching his first especially. He does have this internal physical rhythm that is kind of captivating in a way, and definitely distinctive.
Yeah, it's a very good quality. Milky's quite professional with it. He fucking he'll have his shit memorized a month in advance, Right. So what should we call it? He always has it pretty spot on.
Yeah.
And fucking, And I think I had quite a few battles going on there, so I don't have the same kind of thing. So the logical thing is to try and make an angle over the fact that you're so prepared, which obviously isn't a fucking bad thing, but if you could highlight it, then there's something there.
Lots of milk flips from you in the first. How dare he? Lactose. Semi-skimmed your battles. Did you just kind of reel these off in your head, writing them down?
Yeah. Fucking I had loads of milk puns.
Sure.
I noticed that a lot of them are really obvious and flipping. I think I went a bit too meta, because the point isn't the milk flips. The point is that all his previous opponents were too shit to think of the really obvious milk flips. So I think I went a bit too meta, and I think a lot of people might have thought that I was just doing fucking shit flips for the sake of it, but I enjoyed it. It was a fun round to write,
Yeah, this is a really fun battle. Anyone listening who hasn't seen it, definitely check it out. Milky going in on your inebriation levels. Forget Wrexham, you should rep Texas. Why is that? Because you're a massive state.
Yes.
Dank involved there as well. You got the bottle for milk doing their own thing. You being the main attraction at the freak show of the Ronalds, and just some fun connecting sections here.
Yeah. He's fucking quite biographical with it,
He is because he mentions your granddad, right?
Flipping a bit of a factual inaccuracy.
Right.
There's my great uncle.
Okay.
Who played in goal for Everton. And this was back when speed was legal.
Right.
And my great uncle Albert Dunlop, you can look into him if you want. He was legendary, a bit of a twat,
Right.
But he was also a bit of a legend with it as well. His first ever game for Everton, after coming from Wrexham, was against the Busby Babes.
Wow.
The classic Manchester United side, and I think Everton won 5-1. So a hell of a debut there.
That's so cool. That's so cool that he did that research. How did he know? Did you tell him or?
I don't remember telling him specifically, but
maybe he'd heard through.
Yeah. I mention it if someone asks why I support Everton and that, so.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, he was a bit of a legendary granddad, but also a bit of a rapscallion. Flipping.
Hey, you going on Milky's similarity to Jaqq Millicheap?
Yeah.
Lad's a wannabe?
Yeah, flipping. He doesn't really stylistically, but he just kind of looks like him, and I thought of the Jaqq 1-2 bit ages ago, so I thought, hang on, I could crowbar this in here,
You bring up the Trayvon Martin angle that Milky had explored in the earlier battle to score points, you surmise. The crowd go quiet pretty instantly here.
I think it was a bit of a shit angle, to be honest, but...
You sort of shout at them, and, it makes sense, I suppose, but... You bring up Strictly Come Dancing as well. When Milky mentions at the start of his third, why do you carry hot sauce? And food is said.
Fucking... Well, one of the things is traveling around when you're battling in a lot of different places. You need to get some some decent scran down you on these long days. Yeah. If you go into events and that. And fucking chippies just don't have fucking hot sauce. They don't have sriracha.
Yep.
And the cheapest way to get your stomach fucking filled when you're out and about in the UK is get yourself a bag of fucking chips. So I fucking so a lot of the time I'll carry fucking hot sauce around with me.
Kid's crazy like a schizo goat. Milky delivers. He knows it's a bit whack, but he plays with it. Chat shit going round the houses like a Jehovah's Witness. That's pretty fun. That's pretty nice. His inspiration is Springsteen, he says. I mean, respect to Milk. And he mentions your granddad at the end of the third. Wasn't quick, but your granddad had good speed.
Well, yes.
And he kind of paints an image as well, like the headlines changing and the cups he won, and there was some effort that's gone to that I definitely appreciate. And in the end, he takes it, which is a fair decision to you.
I think it's a fair decision. I think Milky just worked so well in front of that Dub Scandal crowd. That was where I let myself down with that. He was writing for Dub Scandal, I was just writing for a battle, and I did take something away from that. Because sometimes it's more important to think about where you're going to be battling and who you're going to be surrounded by than your opponent. Obviously you got to think about your opponent, but if it's a tight one, knowledge of surroundings and the crowd can certainly help tip the tide in your favour, and I think that's what he did there.
And as we approach the end, of 2017, we had yourself versus Pedro, which is a long-awaited clash, and a bit of a shame, really, because Pedro, I guess, didn't really deliver here.
It was a bit of a mad one. That was the event where Hulk battled Tony D and all that, and I think me and Pedro were both pretty smashed when that happened, because it was about an hour after the event should have finished, I think Pedro did the best thing he could have done, because at that point, it doesn't matter how good your bars are, when the entire crowd is in Liverpool and they're that smashed, it's hard to compete with Pedro's energy. He doesn't really need to say anything, but his energy can keep things going. It's really tough to come back against that.
And on a personal level, was this exciting for you? Because Pedro's a legend.
Yeah. I think it's something you've got to do at some point if you're going to be a battle rapper in the UK. You've got to battle Pedro.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and moving on, then it was great to see you becoming, part and parcel of, I don't know, dare I say, more professional leagues to a certain extent in terms of presentation and demeanour, namely Chalked Out against Mr. Tongue Twister, which is a great pairing. I remember seeing this live in the Fiddlers, and what was this move then? Getting asked by Chalked Out, how did that come about?
They just, I think Ambi just hit me off. Love dealing with Ambi, out of flipping everyone. I've dealt with a lot of different promoters at this stage. I've got to say, Ambi's the guy for professionalism. And if Ambi asks me to do something, I'll generally just say yes straight away, because it's always going to be a good idea. It's always going to be a good matchup. And he sorts out any of your concerns as a battler, before he hits you up. You don't have to be mithering him to say can you sort travel and all this kind of thing. He approaches you with things taken care of already.
Right.
Got a lot of love for the lad,
Right.
But yeah, chronologically, this battle was I think it might have been 2 weeks before the Pedro battle. So it's kind of writing both at the same time.
How do you find that? Do you spread it across the pub sessions? Do you do one day each, or?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm trying to be a bit more, professional with it now. And thinking about things and getting a bit more structure to it. I mean, the Pedro one was hammered out pretty quickly, because that's, you've got to try and catch a vibe for a battle like that. Tongue Twister one was put together a bit more randomly, and I'd chopped and checked. Well, one thing that is a disadvantage with prepping for things is that you get something memorized, and suddenly you decide that things would work a bit better in a different order, and end up chopping and changing things at the last minute, which is what I did here. And what happened with your first versus Briggsy, as I remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that did happen. You were there for that at the next battle, against J Dillon. This opened the card. I remember watching this before I battled Bison, and this was a great battle, man. It must have been very cool to be the inaugural, Code Red battle.
Yeah, Danny Jaqq came up to me and he said, "Do you want to battle first or second?" Like, I'd fucking seen Briggsy knocking around. I thought, I'm not going on after Briggsy versus Soliloquy. So something's going to happen here. I'm not fucking following that. So I said, yeah, I'll first, please. Like, fucking, I'll shout Jay now, and yeah, we'll do that. And in retrospect, I think it was a very, very good decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Fucking, I think it'd be really hard to do a regular comedy battle straight after the scroll.
Yeah, whatever that surreal mess was, it still haunts me. It's still the greatest regret of my life. But still, writing wise, going toe to toe with someone like Jay Dillon, I mean, he can seemingly wring these puns out of nowhere. Like, he just has originality, at his fingertips.
Yeah, and what's to call it? That flipping people have tried to set this battle up like many, many times. Like, I think originally, like, flipping, it was like a year and a half before that Boski tried to set it up on Ronald, and latterly, I think Koj tried to set it up on UKBL, and fucking it was going to be on Don't Flop at one point, and then Don't Flop stopped existing. And there was a lot of cancellations and rebookings and like attempts to book it at times that didn't work. But I'd had like notes going back a year and a half, like, and ideas. So I think he did too. So it took a lot of doing to like kind of like put everything together.
And was it before this period that you battled on Don't Flop for the first time?
The Don't Flop battle chronologically comes after Gwame.
Oh, right.
It was like, yeah, it was
God, it was
May.
that long ago, really? God.
Yeah, it was after Checkpoint 3.
Jesus, yeah, that was. So, how was it versus Dank?
Yeah, I was really happy with that battle. I think we like ended like my original Battle Rap resume interview with me saying that if I wanted to go on to Don't Flop, it'd have to be like, I'd want a decent opponent. On a decent card. I wouldn't want to have to be trying out like. And so yeah, Briggsy approached me around the time around me title run and said like, do you want to battle on this event? And who would you want? So Dank was the first one that came to mind, like, and I think it ended up being a bit of a sick battle, but obviously, like, it's only just been released this week, like.
Yeah. It's a shame that Don't Flop sort of imploded when it was still in the chamber. It hadn't been uploaded yet, and even the thumbnail's kind of lazily done with like Dank's portrait. I think Milky, perched on his right shoulder there. But yeah, it is a good battle, and you do mention the dub scandal stuff that comes up in the dub battles that we mentioned before. But I mean, are you going to return to Don't Flop? Could you see yourself on the Reform League or?
Yeah. Flipping, Mickey. I'm going down tomorrow. Going to watch Mickey and Bowski. Like, this is it. Like, I'm pretty much cool with everyone. Like most people in a UK battling. Like, but Mickey and Bowski are my boys. Like, flipping. They're the lads that got me battling in America when I was struggling to break 1,000 views on a battle. Like, and. I've had I've had some fucking sessions with them boys. So if Mickey and Bowski are involved, then fucking yeah, cool.
Sure. Well, the last battle that I want to focus on properly is the third battle in a row, actually, of yours that I saw. I was at the Tongue Twister one, I was obviously at Code Red, and this one as well at Fiddler's Great Sea King of the Ronalds at Fiddler's Elbow. It's a cool matchup for you. I think a lot of people were excited when this was announced.
Yeah. Fucking, yeah, it's good to see Danny on Ronalds and all that, like. It's another one of these things of all these fucking gaps being bridged. Yeah, like initially I was going to be battling around that time over on ECCM, but the thing I ended up doing fell through, like. So I told Hulk I'd be up for battling. He offered me a couple of people that I weren't really feeling. And they said, how about Danny Jaqq? I said, yeah, that'd be a fucking decent one. But the writing process for that one was fucking weird. Like about a month before the event, I'd been summoned for jury service.
Right.
So it was mostly written around that time, and like I had to sit jury service for 2 weeks. I sat 2 trials, and they were both pretty fucking harrowing things to sit through. Like one was a guy involving like fucking 2 counts of rape of a girl under 13, 1 count of grooming, 1 count of rape, 1 count of attempted sex with a minor, and flipping the other one was also a fucking paedophile case. It was like some guy who was getting his fucking, some old dude who was getting his ex missus's granddaughter to fucking wank him off. Like
wow.
it was fucking horrible. Like, but you know, you have to do these things. Like both people were found guilty, but fucking I was spending like quite long days listening to like lots of quite harrowing testimony and flipping, like, you know, sort of like seeing, you know, an insight into a darker fucking reality than, you know, I like to think that exists in the name of keeping me fucking sanity. Like, so during me lunch breaks, I'd do bits writing jokes for like Danny Jaqq, like, to fucking take me mind off things. So although it's quite a jokey battle, like, I was in a fucking dark place when I was fucking writing that shit. Like, really fucking dark, like, you know, fucking no faith in humanity whatsoever. Like, fucking, how can I call Danny Jaqq a prick? That'll cheer me up.
He got smacked up in the changing room, pushed in the pool, kicked and punched in the playground till he was struggling to move. But when you picked up your GCSEs, that should have been the end of your troubles for you till he grabbed your face at graduation and said, I've got you a job cleaning toilets on my team at Heathrow.
I mean, Hulk introduces Danny Jaqq as a little bit wet, but he's getting a lot of love in the room. The Fiddlers and Kangaroo Ronald should have happened so much earlier, but it's great to see it happen. The crowd join in with your slogan. There's a quick deliberation to who goes first. Danny kicks us off, prepping for the battle. He realises he fell off. I mean, Danny has this personality in the ring, an earthy humbleness that I really like. And I think where he's most successful in this battle is where he's just attacking sort of the tropes and your appearance, etc. The festival goer, the pill popper. You know, that stuff works here.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like, I'd say with that battle, like, he did really well. But I've got more experience with winning battles at the Ronalds.
Yeah.
You know, it's the reverse of the Milky situation. Like, I knew what to do to fucking, you know, I knew it was all going to be about a third round and fucking, we're fucking Ronalds, your code red is fucking shit. I knew that fucking taking that approach for a whole angle of fucking, we're ace, you're shit, and fucking get the crowd on side that way was the way to get them all fucking cheering, like.
Mickey's balls are mentioned by Danny as well. We get some twerk strapped in stuff. Catch a ball sack at any moment. Ends with ice. You know, Danny does this. He does these sort of impersonations, these homages to close the rounds, which work. And your angle is deep in the first. You know, both in the sense of the you know, emotion that you're conjuring, and also you kind of got to know who you're talking about, Craig here. But the idea of Danny being bullied in school and now the bully, you know, being his boss in battle rap terms.
Oh yeah, he'd watch it. I think Danny had posted a status like a bit fucking earlier about what should we call it? I can't believe this was the guy who used to like beat me up in the school playground, and you know, with Craig, who's obviously, you know, his business partner for Code Red, and after he posted that, I thought, well, I just imagine, because obviously they, you know, worked together in his later career and all this, and now they own a company together, and I just thought the idea that the reason Danny Jaqq's so skinny is because he's had his lunch money stolen from him every day for the last 12 years or something by one guy who just won't let him go. I just thought that was fucking hilarious to me. So, yeah.
Yeah, it works well. And you go in a lot about Jaqq as well, and that idea. And Danny's saying you look like every character in Shameless. You look like you woke up at an ATM at 8 a.m. It's quite nice.
Yeah. Also kind of familiar.
Yeah. And you talk about his girl twerking in one of Bill Zah's videos.
Yeah. I don't want to bring up someone's like personal life in here because I don't know what's going on, but you're aware, but everyone's aware of like Bianca through because she always gets mentioned against him. I think she was a dancer in one of Bill Zah's videos.
Right. Well, I think the KLF self-fried chicken is great.
Yeah. What's it called? Yeah. The end of that round. Those were bars from the Lost O'Shea battle.
Yeah. Oh god, so frustrating.
Yeah, look, most of the bars from that battle I'll never be able to use again, but those ones are. And I tried to make a bit of a fucking feature of it and say, yeah, done these before, like.
Yeah, so, it's awful that battle got lost, man. I heard it was a classic, or minor.
I wouldn't even say minor. It was fucking storming. Like that whole event was great. Like of all the events to lose entirely, like. Fucking that's probably been my favourite fucking event of the year so far. I've been to a lot of cool shit this year. Flipping. The energy in that room was electric.
Yeah. Especially someone like you, an observer like yourself, that is high praise. That's crazy. Yeah, so much got lost there. Fighter battle got lost, didn't it, against Deviant?
Yeah. That was a really good battle
versus Flabs.
Yeah. Fucking what should you call it when Flabs took the title?
Yeah. Fuck me. But yeah, great shame, great thing to mourn. And I love your third in the Danny Jaqq battle. I mean, you mentioned Briggsy versus Soliloquy. Battling that something that you knew was going to be terrible. Knew was going to be a bad move. It's a KOTR move. And how he's sort of copying KOTR, and you play on Jaqq as a company. How did he cope in Heathrow when we know he cannot handle baggage?
Yeah. Obviously, this was Danny's first battle back after the whole controversy and all this. Like,
yeah,
he had a few in the, there was going to be that Code Red Birmingham event that ended up getting pulled, like. And all sorts of other things. So yeah. So I had to mention it. And like earlier in the week was when they announced that Emily Tilley and Tori and is it Paris Knots?
I think so.
I think joining the Code Red team. So I had to mention something about that.
Yeah, I mean it's zeitgeisty feel. Is electric. Sort of similar to what Censor explored as well. I mean, it's a shame the scandals have rocked these early. I shouldn't be laughing really, but and all in all, a great battle and deserved victory, I think, for you, Kinell.
Yeah, I was happy with it. Like flipping. So fucking that was like focusing on the roles. Like I knew I've got to have a fucking third that'll get everyone on side, and that was the plan, and it panned out. But like that again, that's it. Like knowing your environment, flipping. If you need to get a crowd to cheer, if you need to get a crowd to cheer for you and win that way, then fucking you put your work into your third round, and or whereas maybe if you're doing something that's promo and you just want views, you put more work into your first, so people like click on the video and stay on it, like. It's a definite thing. Like flipping, I definitely approach battles differently if I know they're going to be judged and how they're going to be judged.
And the last battle I want to look at quickly is you versus Darkly, back over on Back Full. Was this the Saurus Osh event?
Yeah, Saurus Osh, Baylor, Pedro, Podge and Dialect. Yeah, what a fucking event this was. Like Last Words 2. So this was the follow-up to the what should we call it? The one from the previous year. So yeah. This was a brilliant event. Like, fucking, like I fucking love battling for Rory. Fucking Rory. Fucking, I can't. Sorry, I'm really hungover. Love battling for the Rappers Full, lads. Yeah. Fucking, you know, it's always a wicked crack. Like, but last time, like, because I've kind of like fucked up my third a bit. Like, I thought, right, fucking, regardless of the opponent, I'm fucking putting in an absolute fucking the best fucking performance and writing I can deliver to whoever I get next time I'm over. So that was the plan, and that's what I did.
And I mean, it was great from you, and I think Darkly had promise, but the projection maybe needed a little work.
Yeah, fucking, because like this was like the biggest event that Rappers Full had to that point. He'd done a couple of battles on like RCI and stuff like that, where it hadn't been that. I think like he didn't have the same kind of experience I have dealing with like large pissed crowds. Fucking, he didn't know how to. You know, I think someone said recently, I think it might have been Briggsy, that like pits might be easy to battle in, but might be better to battle in, but everyone can control a pit. Fucking not everyone can control a stage.
Yeah,
and I think that's what we saw there.
And going forward for you, you know, we're recording this late July 2018. Like, what's on the horizon?
Yeah, I'm trying to slow down a bit, like, so I promised myself I was going to do like less than 10 battles this year and give myself a bit of a break, like, because I think I've earned it. I haven't really had a proper long break, like, since I started at the Arse End of 2015, like, and fucking that's a big section of my life where I've been thinking up ways of calling someone a cunt, like, and so I'm not rushing to get too many bookings at the minute. I have booked something for the end of August, but that's going to be something a bit different. Like, I can't say anything about that, but keep your eyes on things. Something will be announced like at some point. But yeah, that's going to be. I'm going to be around in London for. I'll be visiting a BRR in the park.
Let's go.
Yes. Tom Quee's lovely day out for very good friends of the show.
It'll be great to see you there, man. And you said you were going to go see Bodied the next day, right?
Yeah. Oh shit, the tickets are out today. I'm gonna book them when we get done here. Like, yeah. Bodied's on at Fright Fest. I'm definitely going to watch that, man.
Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, this has been great as always, man. I guess finally, how can people get at you contact wise?
Get me on Twitter at Kolak, at COLAK. I think if you search Kinell, it comes up as well.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Yeah. Instagram, I'm Kolak Kowalski, but yeah, I'm not spelling that out, sure. Like. Yeah, music-wise, I've got some bits happening too. Obviously, I did the thing with Kelly Betts.
Yep.
The the Lost Music project. Yeah, I might as well talk about that a bit, like, because we didn't really mention anything about it till it came out. I've got a CD copy of it here, like, flipping. This project, it's a project limited to like 300 CD copies that'll never be released digitally, like. So like the only, like, I had 10 copies, and I've sold the fuckers, but I think there's still a few available on kellybetts.bandcamp. But it's such an amazing little project. It's like a gathering of like various people that Kelly Betts works with, and like people from No Coast and all that kind of thing, all doing like sort of like Wu-Tang Clan inspired tracks. So in the spirit of when we all discovered like Wu-Tang Clan, back then you couldn't just go online and watch something, you know, you had to fucking seek out the CD. So that's why this project's only existing as like this limited edition CD. I think there's a few copies left, but yeah, some cool tracks on there. There's one with like me, XQZ, Everybody Knows, Shake, this guy called Justice Lacewell on there on like one track. That's really good. And I'm on about like 4 tracks on the project. But But yeah, so I think that's available at kellybets.bandcamp.com. And he's working on another project at the minute, which he sent me like 4 beats for. So that probably will be available online. But
this has been, as I say, great as always. And we'll put the links in the description down below, and people can get at you. But Kinell, thank you again, man.
Hey, nice one. Safe.